There are parts of your life you cannot see. Your blind spots. Not because you're flawed or broken, but because you're human. And one of the most extraordinary truths about being human is this. Music can not only reveal your blind spots, but when you enter a state of deep, honest listening with presence, music can heal the parts of you that have been hidden your entire life. It can help you see what you couldn't see, understand what you couldn't understand, and heal what you didn't even know was hurting you. Let me explain. Over the past few years, the reality of blind spots has become one of the greatest blessings of my life. Not because blind spots are easy or comfortable, they're not. But because once you can see them, they become a pathway to growth, healing, deeper love, and a more honest relationship with yourself. By definition, a blind spot is something you cannot see. Just like you can't be consciously aware of your unconscious mind. But here's the profound shift. You can learn to see more of what has been unseen. And the very first step is recognizing this. Blind spots are not wrong. They're not shameful. Blind spots are not failures. They are simply part of being alive. When you accept that truth without judgment, the doorway starts to open. Because now the real question becomes, how do you have a conversation with something you can't see or hear? How do you understand a part of yourself that has been hidden? And this is where music enters in a way most people never realize. One of the most common ways we become aware of our blind spots is through the people closest to us, the ones who truly love us and whom we trust. It's always easier to see someone else's blind spots than your own. But what I want to share with you today goes much deeper. This is not about someone else reflecting your blind spot back to you. This is about your relationship with yourself and how music can reveal what has been hidden inside you with extraordinary clarity. Blind spots don't reveal themselves through force, not through analysis, not by overthinking. They reveal themselves through a state I call presence listening. Presence listening is a deep, honest state of listening where your thoughts soften, your analysis relaxes, and your judgments dissolve. Your emotional defenses fall away. Your brain-heart coherence comes online, and your whole system opens into flexibility. In this state, something remarkable happens. You stop trying to control what you think, and you start allowing what is true to arise. Truth begins to surface. Patterns become visible. Insights emerge, and blind spots illuminate. Not because you forced anything, but because music created the space for discovery. It's like a window opening, a soft breeze moving through, light entering the room that has been dark for years. Music becomes the light, your awareness becomes the room, and suddenly what was hidden is seen. There are many ways, subtle and profound, that music can heal you in this way. And there are two perspectives that make this very clear. First, the neuroscience of music and transformation. And second, the wisdom of music as a vehicle for meaning. Let's start with the neuroscience. Decades of research show that there are two natural human capacities that music activates: neuroplasticity and psychological flexibility. These two are deeply interwoven, and together they create a biological and psychological condition needed for blind spots to be revealed. Neuroplasticity is your system's inherent capacity to change. It's not just your brain, but your entire brain, body, and being network. It activates when a new demand, for example, is placed on your system, or you interrupt an old pattern. When awareness opens up a gap or a new connection is required. When you enter a state where old pathways are no longer enough. Think of someone who loses function in part of their body due to a brain injury. Their system can rewire itself to create a new pathway. This same process happens emotionally. psychologically, and spiritually. But neuroplasticity doesn't require trauma. It activates through, for example, meaningful practice, emotional engagement, repetition, presence, and deep listening. Now here's the connection. A blind spot is a gap between what is true in your life and your awareness of it. Music creates the neurological state where new connections can form, allowing that gap to close. And this is where psychological flexibility comes in. When you listen deeply, without judgment, without trying to understand or analyze, without trying to be right, music guides you into a flexible, open, meditative mind. In this state, rigid patterns loosen, defense systems relax, old narratives lose power. You encounter truth without fear. Your identity softens and your perception widens. This is the state where blind spots come into the light, because before entering this state, you might have sensed tension, conflict, or a recurring emotional pattern you were stuck in. But the root cause, the blind spot, remained invisible. Music opens the doorway. It allows you to see what has been hidden. And that moment of seeing is not only insight, it's healing. Science explains the mechanism. Wisdom explains the meaning. Across cultures and centuries, music has been understood as transportation and transformation. Music is a vehicle. Literally, it carries you from one internal world to another. Music is like a ladder that lifts you to a higher plane, a higher view, a river that gently carries you to a new understanding, or an ocean that mirrors the depth of your being. Music is often likened to a horse or eagle that moves you beyond your old narrative, a plane or train that transports you to a completely new state. And here's the essence. Music is a vehicle of meaning. Whatever meaning you bring to the music becomes the direction you travel. If the meaning is openness, healing, truth, discovery, freedom, or awareness, then the destination is the unveiling of your blind spots and the healing that follows. So let me leave you with this. Blind spots are not problems. They are invitations. They are hidden doorways into the deeper truth of who you are. And music, when you listen with presence, can open those doors. If you want to go deeper into using music intentionally to illuminate the blind spots that are hurting you or have been keeping you stuck, if you want to understand the deeper mechanism behind why those blind spots form and how music, awareness, and neuroplasticity can help you finally see what you've never seen, if you want to learn the exact sequence that transforms your brain, body, and being from the inside out to a place of healing, health, and vitality, then join me in my free masterclass. Unlock the 3 master codes that transform your stress into the elite life you desire. In this masterclass, I'll show you how to see what has been hidden, shift what you've never been able to shift, and break free from the invisible patterns that have held you back. If today's session resonated with you, the masterclass will take you even deeper. This is your doorway, your ladder, your moment of illumination. This is the moment where you begin to see clearly again.